This is a special episode of the Hot Seat Interview. For me, I am Leo Brady, film critic with AMovieGuy.com, and I am excited to be here today with a special guest. This is a director whose films I have really enjoyed and loved. We're here to talk about his brand new film, Crime 101. This is director Bart Layton. Bart, thanks for being with me.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
So I start this series with the same first question every time, which is, what is the movie for you that made you say, I want to be a director, I want to make movies?
Oh, wow. Okay, what a great question. I think probably the first movie that I remember watching, which really sort of opened, like the first grown-up movie where I was like, oh wow, okay, this is a whole new thing. You know, if you've been a kid and you watched like TV shows and you watched, and I remember my mum. You know, this would have been in the 80s, I guess. I would have been like 9 or 10. And I remember her saying, look, there's a great movie on. And it was like old. It was from like the 70s or whatever. I was like, I'm not really interested. And she put it on and it was The Sting.
Oh, awesome.
Robert Redford, Paul
Chicago-based movie, which is...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it completely blew my mind. So I made documentaries for a long time. I'm not sure I ever really truly believed or dreamed that I would, make movies, especially like the one we've just done. Yeah. But yeah, I think this thing is one I come back to, and I was lucky enough. I went to the Sundance Labs, which was Robert Redford's kind of incredible institute that he set up. And when I was there, I asked him, I was like, have you got a 35mm print of The Sting?
Wow.
And he said, I do. And there were a bunch of people that I was doing that with, other filmmakers, friends who had not ever seen it. And so we screened his 35mm print up at Sundance. And again, everyone was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's the real deal. I mean, well, and it's interesting too, because you made The Imposter, which was a documentary, and you made American Animals. Those are both also sort of dealing with crime, dealing with heists. Crime 101, also dealing with crime and heists. What is it about the subject matter that makes you keep going back to it?
Yeah, I think it's, I guess I'm always looking for a ripping yarn. I'm looking for a story which is a page turner where you're kind of like, I've got to know what happens next, because I think that will give you, as a filmmaker, it gives me the license to then hopefully smuggle in more interesting ideas as well. And I think the heist as a genre, especially because you set a question at the beginning that your audience isn't going to get an answer to until the third act, but they really need to know how it's all going to come together. And that's a really great structure, because you're constantly building tension, momentum, anticipation. So partly that, and I'm also like, it takes a long time to write and then direct a movie. So if you don't have something bigger than the plot, which is ideas about, in the case of The Imposter, identity and self-deception as much as deception. In the case of American Animals, it was about identity, but it was about lost young men searching for this so-called special life they'd been promised.
Right.
And then with this, again, I'm hopefully talking about themes that we're all gonna connect to.
Yeah.
Status anxiety, like this pressure to have what looks like a successful life, and maybe actually you're putting all of your eggs in the wrong basket, kind of thing.
Right.
So,
yeah, well, and it's cool too, because you've got Chris Hemsworth here as your lead. He worked with Michael Mann on Black Hat, and sort of his vibe here is definitely different. He's definitely playing sort of a more conflicted character, a character with a darker past. Talk about getting him back into that setting and getting this performance out of him, which I think, and I hope, is what we're going to see more of.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he could do much more than we'd ever seen him do before, and I think he really wanted to have a new chapter.
Yeah.
I think he's loved all of the work he's done. He says this is the thing he's most proud of.
Yeah.
And I think people will see why, because it's a real actor's performance. And you know, it's annoying how good he is at everything, right? He looks the way he does. He can drive like a stunt driver, and you see some of him really driving in this movie.
Yeah.
He's also a really brilliant actor, and I wanted him to, I guess, go to places he hadn't been before and reach, you know, for a depth of kind of performance and character that he hadn't done before, and he was really on board for that. It was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of research, and you know, he looks different in this.
Yeah.
Physically, but also the way he holds himself, the way he moves, the way his voice is, it's all different.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely working on a different level here, which is exciting to see. So, you know, one of the sort of it's mentioned in the movie, and one of the sort of the themes is that this all is set in L.A. It's happening along the 101 freeway. Heist movies, crime movies in L.A. go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
I mean, so movies like Heat, or you mentioned Bullet in the movie, like, are those the type of movies that you're telling your actors to avoid because you don't want to sort of copy anything of that, or is it just unavoidable?
Look, I think, you know, it's unavoidable. You're going to get comparison. If you shoot a kind of a movie in LA where there's a very meticulous thief and a very dogged detective, you're probably going to come up with some thief comparisons. I loved that movie.
Right.
I remember seeing it. I was never trying to emulate that, and I think people would be crazy to try to.
Yeah.
I wanted it to have its own identity.
Yeah.
I also, you know, wanted to deliver the kind of movie that probably gives you, I hope gives you something of the thrill ride that we got when we saw movies like Collateral,
Yeah.
or Heat,
Yeah.
or going further back, you know, the Billy Friedkin movies,
Right.
French Connection, Live and Die in LA, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring something of that back
Yeah.
to the cinema as well, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need to see more movies like this because it feels like a grown-up movie. It feels like stuff for that all audiences can sort of grasp with. It's really exciting stuff. Barry Keoghan, this is your second time working with him. He is working on a totally different wavelength here in this performance. He is scary. He's riding on this dirt bike that is also very intimidating. He's almost like a lone rider kind of thing. Tell me about sort of the progress from American Animals to this film. He's much different, but what was your relationship like from one movie to the next?
Oh yeah, look, I mean, Barry is the only actor I wrote the part for because of that relationship, and we're very close.
Yeah.
And I knew he would do it, and I also knew he would bring his history to it. And what I mean by that is, you know, he's grown up on the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of what he draws on in this character is either his experiences or the kids that he grew up with who did bad things and who were like, you know, and the only reason, you know, like if you look into all the characters who in reality have done bad things, you know, you're probably going to find they had very difficult childhoods.
Yeah.
And they didn't have role models and they didn't have a lot of love. And, you know, we talked a lot about case studies of kids who've grown up in foster care. Barry grew up in foster care.
Yeah.
You know, so what he's drawing on is some pretty personal stuff in this. And he has this electric combination of danger, unpredictability, and also like a childlike vulnerability as well.
Yeah.
So all of that is stuff that I was kind of drawing on, and that he is able to do in a way that few other actors can. I think.
Yeah, he's clearly one of the best working today. All right, last question before I have to wrap. You know, obviously a lot of the themes throughout this movie, through Crime 101, is about sort of cutting corners or trying to live life on the straight and narrow, trying to do things the right way. But of course, sometimes life forces you to make bad decisions or to make decisions like that. But what for you is sort of the major theme or the major sort of thought processes that you're hoping audiences walk away from the movie with?
I'm hoping that you're gonna get everything you want from like a big fun night out at the cinema. You're gonna pay your money and hopefully you're gonna get the thrill ride and the roller coaster that we all want. But I also hope that you come out thinking a little more deeply about some of the ideas that are kind of hopefully you're not being spoon fed, but they're in there, which is about corruption, and it's also about the haves and the have-nots, and who actually is on the right side of morality when you've got kind of insurance companies doing one thing, you've got a jewel thief who's ripping off couriers who are traveling between A and B, and the people who are actually going to be losing out are those insurance companies that are also at the same time trying to avoid paying the people who've paid them a fortune in premiums.
Right.
So who's the criminal in that? But also a lot of what I'm trying to explore is these ideas of like status, like that we're all desperately trying to get to a place where we feel like, oh, if I just have that much money, then I'll feel like a success. By the time you get there, like with these characters, they're like, oh, maybe I've been prioritizing the wrong things. And that's something that I think LA can generate in people as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, Crime 101 is playing in theaters everywhere Friday, February 13th. Bart Layton, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Real pleasure. Great.